All right, ladies and gentlemen, well, it's time to talk about Helldivers 2 again. Now, we haven't spoken about Helldivers 2 honestly in a bit, and I think that's because after the whole Sony debacle and PlayStation linking and all that stuff, it kind of died down, and the game is experiencing what most live service games experience, right? Which is essentially the honeymoon phase, fades away, and it's going to be left with whatever their static amount of players is. Now, for Helldivers 2, it still is a high amount of players, don't get it twisted. They have more than enough players to remain successful for a long period of time, as long as they keep doing right by the players. However, I've said this before, and I will say it again, the Helldivers 2 community management team has got to be one of the worst teams I've ever seen out there. They are completely detrimental to the entire reputation of this game, and even though the players have gotten a win when it comes to Helldivers 2, this community management team could ruin all of it.
You blew it, boy! You really blew it!
So we have an article here from That Part Place with a headline that reads, an alleged Helldivers 2 community manager handbook instructs moderators to ban players who are opposed to identity politics being injected into the video game. Now, let me make one thing very clear. This has been proven before based on the actions of their community managers, their Discord mods, everything under the sun. This has been proven prior that they actually do partake in this. They do ban people that are inherently against all of the identity politic nonsense. I'll give you an example. There was an article out there about a story regarding the Helldivers 2 Discord server, where apparently they posted fairy stuff, like whatever. Like if you're into fairies, I can't say that word, geez. If you're into that kind of stuff, that's what they posted. And then somebody ended up reacting to it with a vomit emoji. And that person who reacted with the vomit emoji got banned. He didn't even say anything. He just reacted with the vomit emoji. And then they ended up stopping the ability to even use the vomit emoji, all because of that picture and the reaction to it. So let's get into this article, guys, from That Park Place. But of course, before we do, if you are new here, just consider hitting that subscribe button. I would greatly appreciate it, and like the video to push us out into that YouTube algorithm. It says an alleged community manager handbook for Helldivers 2 instructs the game's moderators to ban players who are opposed to identity politics being injected into video games. Former World of Warcraft team lead shared screenshots of the alleged handbook to X. He wrote, Helldivers 2 Discord is not the politics neutral space that you think it is. The mods think you are a bigot and should be banned on site for saying that you don't want identity politics in video games. He added, this unconfirmed Helldivers 2 community manager handbook seems overall well-written, sensible, but there are two interesting things about it. The first is the example given. Any talk about not wanting identity politics in video games is an instant ban. No warning necessary. They consider it hate speech and a violation of their first rule. Helldiver mods feel the phrase identity politics is code for any minority, and by saying that you don't want identity politics, you are saying you are a racist bigot and actually don't want POC in games. This is a massive false assumption that fundamentally misunderstands the issue. Now, that is a huge red flag for me, okay? If you are going to try to tie the dislike for identity politics in video games or in entertainment to POCs, then you are basically saying, I'm assuming a hardcore leftist, you are saying that for you, POCs is inherently a political thing. Because if you're going to tie it to identity politics and banning people for that, then you're essentially saying that they're right, that it is a political thing and you don't want to talk about it, so you're going to ban them for it. It's a ridiculous notion. People of color should not be a political thing. You are making it into a political thing by doing stuff like this. And the funny thing is, identity politics doesn't even mean like POCs 9 times out of 10. It usually has to do with the obsessive sexuality people, the ones who try to make sexuality their entire identity. That's normally what people are talking about. And POCs and race swappings usually takes a back burner, let's just say. But I don't agree with this. Like, it's very obvious that the moderation team, through their actions prior, have been doing this exact same thing. So even if this rulebook is alleged, I find it extremely sus that they've been following it to almost a T. So it just goes to show. A screenshot shared by Grums states a new user declares that the identity politics have no place in video games, either Helldivers 2 or some other franchise. It then details outcome, immediate ban. This is a direct violation of rule number 1 on our server. Identity politics is code for marginalized groups like POC and transgender people. It's not. To you, it might be, but it's not to anybody else who actually uses it with a brain. That's the funny thing. They want to always downplay whatever your argument is. They want to take it, simplify it, and then gaslight people over it and try to say, oh, yeah, he's trying to talk about identity politics. Yeah, instead of actually going through a nuanced argument, what he's actually talking about is just he hates black people. That's it. That's it. It's the simple-minded trying to translate something that is not meant for simple-minded people. And that's what you're seeing on screen right now. Grums added, gamers are just tired of woke politics and preachy lectures and poorly implemented stories and characters for the sake of shoving the message down everyone's throats. Gamers have always welcomed well-written characters of all types, but the moderators of Helldivers 2 appear to have put most gamers into a bucket of hateful bigots. That's not shocking. And are free to act accordingly. Without even a warning, he continued. As for his second point, he said the second interesting thing is that the famous no politics stance of the Helldivers Discord is missing from the handbook. It's not there. Maybe it never was. Yeah, honestly, man, like, this is not too shocking of information. You know what I mean? Because it's not just Helldivers that has psychopathic community managers like this. We saw during the Gamergate 2 initial debacle with Sweet Baby Inc., we saw all of these community managers just lose their fucking minds. I mean, they all went down the collective rabbit hole of just complete psychopaths. And that's what you ended up finding out. Gamergate 2 really showcased that community managers, for the most part in gaming, are terrible people that think everybody are bigots, everybody are homophobes, everybody's whatever. Like, they think they're the moral superiority. They think that they're the ones that should be the arbiters of justice. So they think that by their job, they are allowed to essentially enact on that being an arbiter of justice. And come to find out, they're usually pretty fucking terrible people, right? They have either a lot of skeletons in their closet, which most people who project like this do, or at the end of the day, they're just hateful people. And they try to pass it off as you're being a hateful person. Grums went on to share more screenshots from the handbook in subsequent posts, which you can find on his page, obviously. This is not surprising. One of the game's Discord moderators banned multiple users for a vomit emoji, which is what I was saying before. Reaction to the LGBTQ furry art, moderator Tetra Katart, who lists pronouns of she, her, and they, them in her bio, as well as featuring an LGBTQIA plus rainbow, and currently has a username of a mouse, posted on June 10th, gender identity is not politics. It's literally someone's identity. Here in the Helldivers 2 server, we have a zero tolerance policy of any sort of bigotry or hate. The topic of gender identity, especially this month, is not one that's not allowed. What isn't allowed is all the negativity towards people trying to celebrate who they are. Do you allow straight people to celebrate? Just out of curiosity, I mean, I'm just curious. Like, do you allow straight people in a month that is supposed to celebrate sexuality? Do you allow straight people to post straight content, to talk about how straight they are, to be obnoxious about it, in your face about it, yelling to the moon about it? Do you allow them to do that? Yeah, I didn't think so. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you did enjoy it. And if you did, consider leaving me a subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. Don't forget to like the video, comment, let me know what you thought, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Hypnotic out.